We will make a dark ganache. We'll make it a little bit more different than usual. So we'll try to add some more stuff to it, like some sugar, as we are going to work with dark chocolate. That's not going to be a problem. So I'm going to put 50 grams of sugar. What the sugar will do in this ganache, it will absorb the moisture. So I'm going to get rid of majority of the water I've got into my cream. So scaling again to 0. Adding the cream. Just going to squeeze to get as much as I can out of this. Okay, so about 500 grams. Then I'm also going to add some glucose, which I've warmed up in the microwave, hoping that it will become easier to maneuver. But it just seems that I have to put it a little bit more in the microwave, as it's still super soft. So let's see if we can just take 50 grams away from here. Glucose will absorb even more water. Yeah, that's fine. That's going to go on my heating plate, and I'm going to start cooking this double cream with my sugars. Just going to get a whisk just there. And at this point, the glucose is still quite firm, but it will start dissolving in a sec. In the meantime, I'm going to scale 500 grams of my dark chocolate, and I'm using dark chocolate from callets. Oops. Okay. Kind of a waste. Yep. So 500 grams. So I'm going to pour my cream over my callets once it starts boiling. Just going to wait for it to dissolve. And to increase the amount of fat and also put some smoothness onto my ganache, I will also add some butter. So going for 50 grams of butter. That will just bring in the smoothness, but will also help the ganache to get firm. The more fat, the higher the percentage of the higher the percentage of fat, the more firmity into the ganache. But if we increase the amount of cocoa butter, that will make the ganache not so tasty. While if we put butter, the butter normally at room temperature is nice and smooth and melts in the mouth. It will just obviously help the ganache to behave in a similar way. Okay, it's just about to start boiling. I need it to actually start, you know, simmering, because I need the temperature so that I can melt the callets. Not too sure if this pot will be big enough. It just seems quite tiny. Let's transfer it onto a bigger bowl. That's quite big, but better to go for a larger pot than a smaller one. So often when I do the dark ganache, because of that heat which I'm going to get from my liquid, I don't have to use the hand whisk to whisk. Sometimes it's enough just to use the hand blender, sorry. It's just enough to use the hand whisk. But I will just wait for my chocolate callets to melt. Then I will start stirring. This will have to crystallize, and it usually takes a few good hours, but ideally would be to make it the day before we need it. Even if it's made out of dark chocolate, it's not going to be so bitter, because we have those extra elements like the sugar, glucose, the butter, and the shelf life will be also longer. But it's got a really nice taste, especially for people who are fans of dark chocolate. This is going to be a favorite. And obviously the color is a little bit darker comparing with the milk chocolate. So you see all the callets got melted. Okay, and that will have to set to cool. And once it would be crystallized, I will be able to use it, or I can pour it into a smaller bowl and just cover it with cling film and put it in a cold place. Now, you've heard me going to the sink and putting some water to run into my cooking pot. I will always suggest to do that, and try and keep on top of your dirty dishes, because otherwise you will build up a huge pile. So if you can, in between, soak your dirty dishes and give them the chance not to dry, but to clean very easy, I think it will be a bonus.